police releasing new surveillance video showing the person of interest in the Brown University shooting.
The top story of today, of course, right now, they just had an update on that Brown University shooter because we know the manhunt continues. Who they thought was the person of interest was released, and now they said they believe it was definitely a targeted attack at Brown University, and they're looking for potential motives, but they said there is a manhunt, well armed and dangerous.
That's right. So the individual they initially took into custody for questioning, they had released. We are now into the fourth day of this manhunt after this attack at Brown University, which killed two individuals. One was a sophomore. She was 19 years old. And the other was an 18-year-old freshman who was a naturalized citizen from Uzbekistan. And what we see now is that the leads seem to be less than they maybe had at the beginning. And they are searching for someone they released new video of where you could not see the face of the individual, but there was definitely some characteristics about him, whether it be the way the individual walked, they could tell the height of the individual.
I mean, that video that we saw, that is not, I mean, you'd have to really know who that person is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really know how someone walked.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, because they're fully, and also they've got a lot of layers on. So I think it's we know it gets more difficult for law enforcement. They always say first 48 hours, and then it
gets really tough.
Really tough, especially if the person is not in the area and we don't know the amount of tips that are coming in. We don't know the amount of information. We don't know what the survivors were able to see either. Like, who were they able to describe?
There's a lot of details that have not been released.
It doesn't seem like at least they had a name. Yeah. So the people who were in that room who were able to speak to the police, who were maybe injured but able to talk, doesn't seem like they were like immediately identified who this was.
No, and I think when you have a situation like this, look, there are those moments where we'll look at what just happened with the January 6th bomber, where 4 or 5 years down the road, you have the right team in place, details emerge, they can do their job. It's not impossible, but I know that this is it becomes stressful, I'm sure, as people. Look, the school's got to be essentially closed for Christmas break, I would assume at this point.
They are not having exams in person, so whether the different professors may be doing things different ways, but they've canceled that. The remainder of the semester, it is closed on campus for any learning or examinations.
Anyway.
Right, exactly.
This was probably the last week.
Yeah, if that.
Maybe a couple of, sometimes you had a couple exams that would go into this late. That's probably what this was probably a group of students coming together to study for an exam.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a tragedy, and it's been, like I said, it's been certainly a rough few days over the past weekend and into now Tuesday here for all of what's going on.
We have that we're able to finish out Hanukkah and go into Christmas without more of these mass incidents.
When we talked to Jeff Balaban yesterday, but when I talked to him a couple weeks ago, I hate to be someone who says that it's predictable.
I know.
But in the conversation we had with him, I said, Hanukkah is coming up. What do we do about security protocols? And then, of course, day one of Hanukkah, the attack in Australia happens. And you don't want to be like, well, I said it and therefore it happened. It's sadly inevitable. It's like, where are you going to be a congregating area of a large Jewish population during a holiday?
In parts of the world where Christian persecution is bad, it's going to get worse on Christmas.
Yeah.
And like in Nigeria, because they know more people will be gathered at the church, so that the extremists will utilize that. We know it's worse during Easter. So like, why? Because there's more people there. They usually have multiple services. It's more chaotic because more people are going in and out, and there's a lot of people. Now, that means security does go up, but that incident in Australia was unique because it was on a public beach. And we know we've represented churches that do this on the beach. It's very California that do this weekly.
Very similar.
And security is a little different. But again, do we have to live in a new mindset, or can we fight this ideology so that this is something that we talk about historically instead of something that is so regular?